Shavua Tov, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. The weekly shir on Parsha. And this Parsha, Parsha Vayeira, is a very, very special Parsha. We're going to be discussing a few things that we find, a few interesting stories that contain special messages, special lessons that we could learn today in our lives. And here is a question that many, many people ask very, very often. Why is keeping Torah mitzvahs, being an observant Jew, why is that so difficult? Why is that so hard? Why do we need to face so many challenges to keep the Torah and the mitzvahs that Hashem commanded us, that Hashem gave us? Or in other words, sometimes people say, if Hashem wanted us to keep his mitzvot, to observe what he told us to do, he should make it simple. He should make it easy. Throughout history, if we take a look at the persecution that the Jewish people went through, and the difficulties and the struggles, the external struggles from enemies and from certain countries that did not allow them to keep Torah and mitzvot. The question is, why is it done in that way? And how should we fight it? How should we face all of those challenges? For example, in the times of the Maharal Prague, who lived approximately 300 years ago, he lived in Prague. And in those days, it was very common to blame the Jewish people right before Pesach, right before Passover, that the Jews killed a Christian boy to use his blood for the matzot. It wouldn't help explaining to them that we don't eat blood and that it says in the Torah several times that you're not allowed to eat blood. They still would find a way to blame the Jews for killing a Christian boy. And this is one of the famous alilot dam, the famous ways that the Goyim used to basically blame the Jews was through this specific thing. Now, the Maharal Prague was a huge tzaddik, and he created, according to the tradition, he created a goylem, human being, a person, some kind of creature that had a lot of abilities like a human being. And he was huge, he was very strong, very powerful. And that golem, there were various stories how he saved the Jews in that time when the Maharal Prague lived from these persecutions. Such as finding in advance the child that was killed. He was, of course, killed by the Christians or in some kind of accident, and they used to throw him into the Jewish houses and blame the Jews for that. And also other various ways that he frightened the Goyim in that time, and they did not try and do problems. Here we see the Maharal Prague using some special power. And there's an interesting story about how he created him, the circles, he created him from dust, like Hashem, from the earth, like Hashem created Adam. Afar min ha'adama. And the question is, why throughout the generations, the big righteous tzaddikim, why did they not use their powers to automatically save the Jewish people, to provide miracles and miraculous things? Because they had the abilities, they had the powers. When they wanted to use it, they were able to. Why don't we see that Hashem and the tzaddikim help out the Jewish people through the hard times? This is all in our Parsha, by the way. We can find the answer in our Parsha. And let's talk about it, because the beginning is a very important mitzvah that we learn in the beginning. Avraham Avinu, at the end of our the last Parsha, Avraham Avinu does a bris, circumcision. and it's painful. The first day goes by, the second day goes by, Hashem does not come and visit him. Hashem comes on the third day, Vayeira Elov Hashem. In our Parsha, the beginning of our Parsha, Hashem appears to Avraham, and as we'll learn, he brings 3 angels with him. One angel to cure Avraham from the pain, a second angel to bless Sarai Menu with Yitzchak, with the son. The third angel was to destroy Sodom, as we'll learn in the Parsha in a few chapters. Now, this is very interesting because it was the third day of Avraham's bris. And why does Hashem remember only on the third day to come? Why doesn't he come on the first day? Let's say the first day, there are some commentaries that say that the first day Hashem was there with him when he done the bris. Hashem helped him to do the bris because he was an old man. He was scared to do it himself. Hashem said, I'll be there with you. I'll help you do it. Hashem does not show up. The third day, that's when Hashem comes to Avraham and helps him. The question is why? Hashem should be there on the second day, help him on the second day, cure him, bring the angel, Raphael, right? We know Raphael is the angel that's in charge of refuah, of curing, of medicine, and he was the one that helped Avraham on the third day, but why not on the second? So in order to understand that, basically what we have in the Hasidus history, the Hasidic history is a very interesting story about the Alter Rebbe, the first Chabad Lubavitcher Rebbe. And the Alter Rebbe was put into prison because the Russian government in that time thought that he is supporting the Ottoman Empire. And that was, of course, the external reason. But the internal reason, the real reason that he was spreading the Pnimius part of the Torah, the internal part of the Torah, the secrets of the Torah, the Kabbalah, and the Hasidus, the Alter Rebbe was spreading it out to the whole world, explaining it to the whole world, and in Shamayim, not everyone was happy with that. So what happened was that Alter Rebbe was put into prison, and the prison was on an island, basically. Now, whenever they wanted to ask him questions and try and get him to admit that he's doing something against the Tsar, against Russia, so they used to bring a small boat or something like that, and they used to cross the river to the police station where they used to investigate and where they used to ask him questions. Now, it came Kiddush Levana, and like we did last night, the Kiddush Levana, which was very special here at Chabad of Rechavia, so it was time for Kiddush Levana. And the moon was there, the moon was in the sky, but the Alter Rebbe didn't want to do it moving on the ship, on the boat, because they would get quickly to the police station and he wouldn't be able to complete the blessing on the moon. So the Alter Rebbe asked the guard to stop for one moment. He told him he wants to pray the special prayer, Birkas HaLevana, blessing the moon. And he said, after that, let's go on our way. But the guard wasn't prepared to hear, and he continued. He didn't pay attention. The Alter Rebbe asks again. He's not listening until the Alter Rebbe caused the boat to stop. And he was paddling the guard, but it didn't work. The boat just did not move. And then there's a miracle happening here. This is something that the Alter Rebbe is causing. What happened? The Alter Rebbe didn't start blessing the Levana while he stopped the ship, the boat. The Alter Rebbe let the boat continue, and he asked him for a third time, can we please stop for one moment so I can bless the moon? And then the God understood that this is a person that can control nature. So he told him, yes, of course, I'm going to stop the boat. And there you go, bless the moon. And that was the way that the Alter Rebbe blessed the moon. But once again, what happened in the story? The Alter Rebbe did not bless the moon because of him stopping the boat. He blessed the moon only after the God of his own accord decided to stop the boat. Why? Why did the Alter Rebbe, why didn't he just, as he stopped the boat, he forced the God to basically, God had no choice because the boat stopped because of this miracle. So there and then the Alter Rebbe should have blessed the Levana. Why was it so important that the guard should stop it for the Alter Rebbe? And here we come to a very important lesson, a very important understanding about when we talk about observing mitzvot, when we talk about keeping Hashem's precious mitzvot, what is the way to really do it? So the purpose of the mitzvot, as we'll learn in the future parshiyos, and what Chassidus speaks about so many times, is that the mitzvot are here to elevate the world. The mitzvot are not just random mitzvot. They're not just things that Hashem wanted for a reason that we don't even know of. In a certain way, the mitzvot are here to upgrade the things that exist in the world. Such as, let's see, we just ended the month of the Chagim, which is a month that is packed with many, many mitzvot. Shofar, Lulav, and Etrog, the Sukkah, and many, many other mitzvot that are all about taking these material, physical objects in the world and using them for a godly purpose. What we are basically doing is we are using them for to elevate the world, to make the world a better place. Let's call it in that way. We are connecting it to Hashem. So when we connect the world to Hashem, we want to do it in the world's conditions, not in Hashem's conditions, not in nature, because then we lose the whole point. We lose the whole point of elevating nature to a higher level, connecting nature to Hashem. And we are saying, you know what, let's not pay attention to nature. Let's overstep nature. Let's break the nature's rules. And we lose the whole purpose of doing a mitzvah. Doing a mitzvah is taking nature, what Hashem created here, and revealing and elevating nature to a higher level. So doing miracles isn't a solution. It might be the short way. It's a shortcut. But ultimately, and if we want to do it properly, it's not the good way to go, because we are not elevating nature. We are breaking nature. We aren't paying attention to nature. And then we miss the whole purpose. We'll still be stuck here trying to elevate when we basically see the Alter Rebbe stopping the boat in a miraculous way. The Alter Rebbe did not want to bless the moon in that way. Because what is the purpose blessing the moon if I force the God to stop the boat? Where am I elevating nature here? This isn't nature anymore because the God doesn't want to stop. If it was up to nature, I would be already in the police office and they would be questioning me. I wouldn't be here blessing the moon. That's because of a special miracle. So what we see in the times of the Maharal Miprog, that he created a golem. He created this creature that was able to protect the Jews. That was I think that's pretty much once, or maybe there was very few times in history where tzaddikim used special miraculous powers to overcome the surroundings, to overcome nature, to overcome persecution. And sometimes that's okay to do it, because occasionally it's just so difficult and it's just so hard for the Jewish people. So just to give them this time where they can breathe a bit, that is also something that's 100% fine. But as a way of living, a way of keeping Torah v'mitzvahs, we've got to face challenges. We've got to face nature. And that is why the question that people ask so many times, why is it so hard keeping mitzvot? Hashem should make things easy. That's going to be when Mashiach will come. The purpose of Mashiach coming is to do miracles. It's to provide us a safe life, a comfortable life, where we can keep Torah v'mitzvahs. But that is only after we already upgraded and lifted the world to a higher level. When we bring the world to a higher level, to a level that's already holy, that's the time when Mashiach will come. That's the time when we'll be able to easily keep mitzvot. Now we've got to upgrade nature. So we can see it in a story about Rabbi Levi Diamond, who was one of the greatest, sorry, this is about the Arizal. This is about the Arizal. This is even, that's way back. The Arizal, approximately 450 years ago, the Arizal was the first one to reveal Kabbalah to the public. And his student, Rabbi Chaim Vital, was the one to write his books. And the Arizal never ever, he never ever asked for a discount or something like that when he bought an esrog, or for any mitzvah, not only for an esrog. If someone told him, you know what, these challahs for Shabbos, they cost 100 shekels, he would give 100 shekels. If the esrog cost 1,000 shekels, he would give 1,000 shekels. And it goes even back. It goes to Rabban Gamliel, who was one of the famous Tanaim, in the times of Eretz Israel, of the Second Temple. And whenever they asked Rabban Gamliel to pay, Rabban Gamliel, it says in the Gemara in Masechtas Baba Kama, Shekana Esrog be'elef zuz, 1,000 zuz, which was basically the currency in those days, to show how much he appreciated mitzvot. In other words, he did not escape challenges when it came to observing mitzvot. The challenge then was the money. 1,000 zuz is a significant amount of money. That's very expensive. Let's say we could compare it to 1,000 shekel. Buying an esrog for 1,000 shekel is very expensive. Even the best esrogim from Calabria, from Italy, that they import to Israel, they cost 500 shekels, 600 shekels. Here we're talking about 1,000 shekel. That's double the price. But still, Rabban Gamliel said, I'm going to pay. I am going to pay that amount because I'm not going to try and ask for a discount when it comes to do Torah mitzvahs. Yes, it's a challenge. It's hard. It's difficult for me to pay that amount. But when I want to do mitzvot, I'm going to do it even in a way where it's still hard. So let's go back to the story about Abraham. The story is at the age of 99, which is very, very hard. We've got here just a question, one moment. So once again, the story with the Maharal and the Golem is an exception. Once in history, we hear about creating this creature that protects the Jews. But throughout history, even the times of the first temple, the second temple, when the Greeks or whoever it was, when they came to conquer Eretz Israel and to cause trouble in the times of the Inquisition, right, in the times of the Holocaust, we don't see the greatest tzaddikim using unnatural powers. We don't see Hashem miraculously just causing the challenges to disappear. Once in history, we see that the Maharal did use this, but that's only once. This isn't a way of living. This isn't the way that Judaism says this is the way to do things. No, we've got to face challenges. We've got to overcome these challenges, and that's how we elevate nature. In the times of the Maharal, sometimes it is a bit too hard. So that's why the Maharal said, and it was only for a certain amount of time. It was only for a short amount of time. This isn't something that happened for 40 years. It happened for a small amount of time. I'm not sure exactly the numbers, but it wasn't that one from the first day of the Maharal. He didn't create it on the first day. It took him several years to create it. And at a certain point, when the golem wasn't doing its purpose anymore, but it was used to do other things, so the Maharal basically put it to sleep. And until today, they say that there's the shul of the Maharal still exists there, the Altnai shul, that's what it's called. And if you would go to the Jewish quarter, you would still see that that shul. And they say that on the Aliyat Gag, basically I don't know what exactly it is, this third floor, something like that. It's closed. You're not allowed to enter, but that's the place where the Maharal rests, where the golem rests. And that was an exception. Here we see it in our Parsha. This lesson, Hashem teaches us right in the beginning of our Parsha. Avraham does the bris, very painful, very hard. Any person that visits someone that's sick, it says that he takes 1 out of 60% of his illness, which means if you go and you visit someone that's sick, that's a big mitzvah. You're helping this person. You're causing this person to become better. You're in a certain way of curing this person. Imagine Hashem coming and visiting with an angel, with a special angel, Raphael. That's a special. Avraham and Hashem actually does not want Avraham to be cured in a miraculous way. That's why on the second day, he does not come. On the second day, when Avraham is still hurting him and he's suffering and he's ill, he's sick, Hashem doesn't appear. Hashem doesn't bring the angel, because we've got to keep the mitzvot. We've got to do the mitzvot, even when it's hard for us, even when it hurts us, even when it's painful. This is the lesson that we learn at the beginning of our Parsha. That's why only on the third day, Hashem visits Abraham, and Hashem brings the angel Raphael in order to naturally cure Abraham, because we know that any doctor that helps us, cures us, gives us a certain medicine, this is basically Raphael's long hand called the doctor, but we know that it comes from Raphael and it comes from Hashem. But Hashem did not want on the second day to appear to Avram and to miraculously cure him. Because then again, we lose the whole point. We lose the whole idea of keeping a mitzvah, even though it's hard, even though it's challenging. So this is what we could learn here at the beginning of our Parsha. And this is why these Parshas are once again so important, because besides learning about the technical mitzvot that we'll learn in the future Parshas, starting from Parshas Shmos and onwards, we've got to learn how to keep mitzvot. What is our approach to the mitzvot that Hashem gives us? How should we look at challenges? How should we face challenges? And here we see that Hashem says, you've got to face the challenge. Don't escape the challenge, because this is the purpose of doing the mitzvot, elevating nature, upgrading what we see here around us in the world. And a second lesson that we can learn from here is to visit a person that's ill. Sometimes we think, well, the person is yes. So it says the first few days don't go and visit him. But after the third day and the fourth day, for sure, from the third day onwards, we should go and visit a person that's ill, because that could take away a lot of his pain and help him to be cured. Thank you very much for taking part of the shir, and I'm looking forward, Bezrat Hashem, seeing you next week on Sunday once again. We are starting a new JLI course, Bezrat Hashem, Secrets of the Bible. A lot of these stories here in Bereshis and stories that we'll be learning in the future parshas, we're going to attend to them, we're going to discuss them, we're going to talk about them, and we're going to try and understand them, because a lot of them seem in a certain, or there's something hidden. There are deep, deep messages hidden. So we're starting this course, Bezrat Hashem, next Sunday, for 6 Sundays from 7:30 to 9. And you get textbooks, you get a diploma. There are videos that we show every shiur, every lesson. And whoever wants to sign up could please contact me or Rabbi Goldberg. And would be great signing you up. There is a fee that we charge. It's 200 shekel. And looking forward, whoever wants to sign up. Shavua Tov.